we need to explore the difference between challenging and coaching. And the reason why this is important is they really aren't the same. When someone says, I need you to challenge me, maybe that's pushing them in such a way where they cannot push themselves. And so out of empathy, we decide, okay, whatever it takes. I know you've got to be over there on the far shore, so I will take you from here and I will push you from the back rather than you pull yourself toward the goal. I will be the catalyst. I will actually take a prodding role in helping you cross the threshold. And there's a great deal of risk that comes with this from the one giving the help, because you have to know your audience. You have to know what buttons to push. And if you don't know what really works, if the person hasn't given you license to do that, we can't come at them with just the assumed challenger. I think challengers have to ask for permission, not ask for forgiveness, because you kind of have to be forthright and say, look, I'm knowing how important this is to you, and I'm going to need to really push you in such a way where even if you don't like me, I'm going to have you do certain things. And you can even hear in my voice, I mean, there is a certain level of assuming power that I'm going to put myself in a situation where I'm going to do whatever it takes for that other person to move. And I'm going to do it out of the raw care and concern for their well-being, and also see who they could be tomorrow. And so based on that, I'm going to apply the level of intensity and toughness that I may need. But I think it's important to understand the semantics around the challenger, because when someone says, look, I need to be challenged, what does that really mean? Does it mean, oh, I need you to tell me what my goal is, and we need to talk about what that means to get there, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there, and you're going to remind me and you're going to hold me accountable to whatever that is. And that may be exactly what we're talking about. Or maybe challenge just means I know where the goal is. I just need to work through the resistance I have about doing what it takes and having good character development. And I wonder if it's just sometimes telling someone what to do. But again, we have to come to terms on what challenge means. Now, what's coaching as opposed to challenge? A coach knows the limitations of the player. A coach helps the player understand that. A coach knows who they could be tomorrow. But coaching is helping them allocate themselves. In other words, take the strengths that they know, that you help them define, and take aim toward their ends with those strengths. But all of the energy and the execution won't come from being pushed. It will come from them pulling themselves to the goal because they have clarity on the goal itself. I think sometimes someone needs accountability because they haven't set up the right kind of structures. And then they say, well, I need you to challenge me, which could be a very interesting compensation temporarily for what's missing. If someone really knows what they want and the what they want pulls them ahead, then what do they need the challenge for? Because sometimes we love our outcomes so much that the generative care that we have for them is literally overpowering to any resistance we have. And so we just have a higher dominance of motivation. We don't need commitment. We just have a choice to do it. And so we create a setting where someone is so in tune with what they love and want that they transfer power to that, and that power has some level of captivation over them. And so instead of challenging kind of from the back and pushing them forward, what they do is they set up structures where they pull themselves forward, and the coach just helps them position for that. We bring in the current reality in the room. We get reality based about where they are, where they really are, help build that picture. And naturally, that truth to trust sets them into a new pattern or germinates new responses. And those new responses are part of the learning process of getting closer to what they want to create. That is the art of coaching, is it's not forcing, it's not prodding, it's setting up the tracks, the structures that incline someone toward the goal that they're trying to create. And then maybe where the challenger comes in is they've got to go the distance, and so they say, well, have I done enough? Or, oh, this is really, really hard. And instead of trading out, oh my gosh, it's hard, we've got to go across these chasms, let's get through it, maybe they depend on the challenge to be able to get all the way through. I think in terms of helping, both are very important because They apply something to someone that they can't give themselves. But it has two different regions of influence, different places from which we influence and set things up. It's all for the same goal. It's for movement toward an outcome. But as far as where we do it from or how we influence, the place from which we do it, I think that's very important. The other word that has to come in the room is creator. If I'm a creator and I'm taking responsibility for myself and I'm creating what I want, then that fundamental choice puts me in the driver's seat of the commander to take responsibility rather than yield to someone else's answers. And therefore, I am organizing myself and I am moving myself on behalf of an outcome because I am a responsible creator. I'm not a reactor, but I'm a creator. And I've made a decision to be the predominant creative force in my life. And because I've made that decision, all my goals, the things I want to create, are to be because I care about them. And someone asked me the other day, but what about commitment? I need to be committed. Well, why would someone need to be committed to something they really care about and choose to do? Commitment is obligation. What do you need to obligate yourself to? It's about choice. So, what moves us as a creator isn't the consequences that our decisions ensue. It's the possibility of the vision and the outcome that we choose to create. And that, therefore, therein lies the very instant that we move something into being from here to there, is that creative habit that's taken by me being a creator, making a creation, and bringing that creation all the way into being. Again, why does another human being need to challenge another when they set up structures that incline the person to learn how to create what they want? But then they got to go the distance. And maybe that's the place where they need the extra push to go across those thresholds and to be able to move through those headwinds with a little bit of tailwind. So I'd like you to think about, what kind of challenger are you? Are you challenging yourself? What kind of coach are you to yourself in knowing your own limitations and strengths? And what kind of creator are you? Are you someone that takes action upon the outcomes you want to create? Or are you trying to find the rewards first? Satisfaction, fulfillment? Because if that's the case, you're not going to last. And if you make it about that, then when it's missing and you're on the bad days, what are you going to do? As they say on Broadway, the show must go on. If you're a professional, then you've set up a way for you to stay resilient and to keep on keeping on in the midst of some of the biggest storms or the obstacles that you hit. And you actually use those as raw material teachers to formulate new and different adaptations that you need to make strategically to move closer to what you want to create. The most important thing, I think the biggest challenger energy, is the gap itself, is knowing that you have space between where you are and where you want to go, is tension, and it seeks resolution, and it causes you to resolve that tension like an archer in a bow. And when you work with that tension, you don't forget what's important because you've made a claim on what's important and you've decided to create it. And because you're honest and truthful about where you are, the relationship between those two poles naturally challenges you to not be forgetful. It challenges you to remember your next move. It challenges you to try a new response when you fail. It challenges you to see how close you are, not how you're doing, but how close you are to what you want to create.